What's going on, people? Welcome to the fan cam. Palace 1, Tottenham 4. Disappointing defeat, and I've got lots of people here. Got T, Stan, Adrian, John, Luke. Luke was here for a moment to talk about that game. And, you know, 4-1 defeat against Tottenham away from home. We've got lots to talk about, the goals, the performance, the subs. So let's get this started straight away. I'll start with you, Stan. You was happy with that performance. You thought that Tottenham were just a bit too good for us, and, you know, maybe that we could have done maybe a bit better for the goals, but their class just beat us, right?
I think the better team won for sure. I think the referee didn't help. I thought he gave him everything. I thought he was terrible. There were a couple of bad individual performances, I think. There were. Luka, Ayew, PVA again found out. But look, like, they started Bale, Kane and Son up front. Let's be real here. And then they took Bale and Kane off and replaced it. Who was it they replaced them with? Like Vinicius and like some, just absolute, Sissoko. Like, this class players, you know, like up and down the squad there. So, look, it's never good if you lose 4-1, but every single time we go there, we ship 4 goals. When was the last time we didn't ship 4 goals at White Hart Lane?
That's a good point. I think last time around it was 4 as well. I think I remember Saka playing and he struggled. But look, guys, let's start with the lineup. Our back 4 was unchanged, which you would understand after the United game. It's pretty much just it was the same. It was the same lineup apart from McCarthy. He was out injured for Gyro. Do you think that was the right way to, you know, approach this game, considering how well we played against United and got a point against them?
I think you're playing another good team. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know. Like, you're not going to go man for man with them. Do you know what I mean? Like, they are a good side, unfortunately. I didn't think Gyro had his best game in the middle either. I mean, I'll let the others speak about it, see what they think. But it's a bit of a funny one to watch really today.
What, Gyro? What was wrong in his game? What do you see?
I thought he gave the ball away a lot. It didn't help. He had Luka next to him. It was terrible. You know what I mean? So he was doing double running, I thought. But yeah.
Do you agree with that, T? In terms of Gyro's performance today, it wasn't quite up to standards. I'll be honest. We can talk about Luka. Luka had a great game against United, but this game, this especially with the goals, we will talk about him. But what about Gyro? Do you struggle?
It definitely wasn't the caliber of the game that we're used to seeing from Gyro. I think the thing is, though, is the type of pressure that he was under playing in the midfield. When if you're part of a midfield too, and you're next to a guy who's inept, it's going to be hard for you to have a good game. You know, I mean, they're already getting overrun in the midfield because they're down a guy, but then you're playing against a guy who's just playing with a guy who's just terrible. So I don't expect that he could have that great of a game. Like you said, doing double the running and trying to make up for the lack thereof of the guy that you're partnering with. You know, I think that's just my opinion on that. I mean, I think the lineup was good outside of, I mean, I honestly wouldn't have started Ayew. I would have just went ahead and just gave Wilson.
Well, yeah. Explain your name. What's going on there? I hate your. What's your agenda towards Ayew? I know you didn't have the greatest of games today, but he hasn't been that bad this season.
And he's been horrible. He's been horrible.
This season.
Bad.
The only thing Jordan Ayew does usually is he runs his socks off. Other than that, he doesn't do anything well. You can't play him at striker because he can't score goals. You can't play him at winger because he's actually advancing the ball and actually dribbling. Like, he's not good. There's few people that I don't like watching play football, and I just don't like watching him play because he's terrible. He looks lost. The only thing he does good is give up the ball and then foul right after it. That's all he does.
That's an agenda there. Look, this season he hasn't been as good as last season. There's no denying that.
He wasn't good last season. He was.
Whoa.
He was one of the
He wasn't good. He's never been good. He's never been good.
He was one of the players. Look, he had 9 goals last season.
Yeah.
Out of all the opportunities that he had, that dude should have had 22 goals. But the thing is,
come
he's
on now.
terrible. He's fucking terrible.
He carried us last season. He carried us last season with Vicente. Come on now. He was the main man.
He carries
He
the
had the
ball
most
really
goals on
well.
the shit
Like,
team. He's not
what
good.
I would say, like, I think he hasn't been that good this season, mainly because he holds onto the ball like for 2 touches too many every time. The thing is, last season, that was exactly what we needed because no one was looking after the ball, particularly up top. This year, for whatever reason, Benteke is doing a lot better holding the ball up. Wilf has started playing up top and like wants the ball more. Okay, he's been injured just last couple of games, but so are you actually the same thing that he was good at last year, which is really looking after the ball, holding onto the ball, actually has become a weakness and a problem because there's other players who can do that better and players who want to advance the ball, like who we need to advance the ball better. So now we have Schlupp and Zaha hopefully back, and that was a bright spot from today that we should mention. Actually, Ayew becomes more of a problem than he was, in my view. So I kind of agree with you, T, but I think you're being a bit unfair in that last season particularly, he played a really important role for us, looking after the ball up the field. If he wasn't doing that, we'd have just been under pressure for so much more of the time. And he does look after the ball quite well. Just at the moment, it's a bit too slow, and he like undermines the other abilities that we have and the other sort of players we have going forward. So I kind of agree, but kind of disagree.
One thing I just can't consider him a good player. I can't, because you did the best on a shit team in a bad season. That doesn't mean you're a good player. That just means that you're able to do well.
He's never been good, mate. He's never been good. First season he was terrible.
I'm not a fan of Ayew.
Yeah, Adrian, go on.
I've never been a fan of Ayew. He spends more time on the floor than he does anywhere else, and he expects to fail for it.
100%.
100%, but he's done that wherever he's been. He scored goals last season. This season, he's not even got there. Like I say, he runs with the ball, and loses it every time. Like I say, one too many touches when the easy pass is always the better. But then also Lucas, he's not thinking. He's played the ball backwards more than he does forwards, and hence why we like the first goal. Give him his due though. The Benteke cross was absolutely perfect. But for me, Lucas loses his touch as well. But Ayew, I've never been a great fan of Ayew. I don't think he does enough. He runs around like a headless chicken most of the time, and I don't think he does enough.
So
he's got
there's the point this season that he hasn't. Yeah, there's the point this season you can make, but I mean, last season him and Vicente was the main reason we stayed up in the league in the first place.
The thing about the Diyar is sort of not really talking about that much, just him, but like you asked if it was right to keep the same team for this week, and in hindsight, it wasn't. But you can say in hindsight, like it was such a different game. There was so much more space, and so that's why Gyro struggled, I think, because he had to carry Luka on his back, but it's also why Luka struggled, because Luka's been good in games where we've been set up, low block. There isn't that much space, and he can his job is really defined, and he can do that. But where there's more space, more different options, I think he's struggling with that because of pace, and he's just a bit off the pace. But the more higher intensity games. But conversely, when later on there was more options, Gyro looked better because he's a naturally better footballer. So when Zaha was making runs and there was good balls, second balls, Gyro looked a bit better. But what I'm saying is, what it's really hard to predict how different the games are from each other. And I don't know if that speaks to a bit of a trying to change style or lack of tactical plan or just circumstances. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I'm not saying Roy's to blame for that or anything like that. He might be, but I just don't know. But what I would say is the game against United and the game today are incomparable. They're two, as if we weren't, it wasn't like Crystal Palace and Crystal Palace. It was Crystal Palace and someone else. And I don't know which was which. I actually preferred our performance today, even though we lost quite convincingly compared to last week. But we looked like we knew how to create opportunities. We looked like, you know, we could score goals. Okay, they beat us. Some of their goals were world class. I'm not really sure I'm going to be blaming our defenders that much beyond maybe 2 of them. But, you know, like, I was actually, as a fan, I enjoyed the game today, like, quite a lot. Probably more than the last one.
Did you enjoy the second half or just the game? Because in the first half, apart from that one opportunity that we had, we really didn't have any, you know, attacking intent, really. It was defending even when 1-0 down. They didn't as well, but we were solid defensively. That's the thing. And the second half, that changed. And let's talk about that. In halftime, Eze came off, Wilf came on. And what do you think it was in the second half to concede all them goals? Of course, Kane's third goal, the third goal for them, Kane's goal, that was just brilliant. But some of the goals could have been avoidable. And Stan, you mentioned PVA. I'm not too sure which one you're talking about, but what goal do you think he could have done better in terms of defending?
Well, he could have done better with their third, to the point where the fullbacks absolutely like dubs them into like next week. Do you know what I mean? And he hasn't even tracked the fullback. Fullback's passed it back. Kane's banged it top ends. Do you know what I mean? Like, and he's like, when you look at him, I'm trying to find some stuff on my desk to look at him. Like, say the ball comes over, this is the winger. PVA's here. Like, he's so far away from the person that he's meant to be marking. Every single time they're tucking inside him. Do you know what I mean? And it doesn't matter if you're playing Tottenham, West Brom, Doncaster Rovers, Sunderland. That's always going to happen with him. So it's just frustrating. He's not solid enough. Do you know what I mean?
Stan, don't you feel like it's a bit harsh, like entirely blaming him, because the way we're set up on the other side, you've got like a winger, sort of winger who really is quite defensive and is like guarding his fullback, and then on PVA's side, you've got like Eze, who basically drifts inside, and like that's what he should do. That's what he's good at. I want him to do that. I want him to like be really free and drift around. And then Wolf comes on, and I don't even know who's playing in front of PVA second half. Is it Ayew? Is it Wolf? Like, no one, basically.
Yeah, it was Ayew.
Ayew didn't track back on Harry Kane. That's why Harry Kane got that shot off.
Yeah, so I think it's a bit harsh to blame the fullback when like that left side was overloaded for that Harry Kane goal especially, but like plenty of times completely overloaded. They had like Lamella, Kane drifting out there. That, you know, loads of times. Lucas, let alone Doherty bombing on. I feel like, yeah, I hear what you're saying, but I feel it's a bit harsh blaming PVA for that. Yeah.
So what? Okay, we talked about PVA for the third goal, but second we conceded another goal. I think it wasn't a screamer. There was good play from Tottenham, but you had 2 headers which we could have potentially defended and everything. What changed in the second half? What happened in the second half for Tottenham to switch up? Was it just Tottenham or was it us with the Wilf substitution, which I don't understand would have that much of an impact? Because I moved out wide. So what? Are you telling me that I moving out wide and him not tracking back was the reason why we conceded some of the goals? Because some of the balls did start down their right-hand side where Ayew was playing down the left for us. Like, it's the area that he should be in. But then again, I don't... What do you guys think it was in the second half? Because something changed.
On that particular play and a few other times during the game, I kept noticing Ayew kept drifting inside, even when we were defending. And as the left midfielder, you have to be able to defend, like you said, down that right side. And a lot of those attacks came because Ayew kept drifting inside. So on that particular Harry Kane goal, if you watch that one, I don't know what it was, but Ayew went above Harry Kane rather than playing behind to stop him from being able to go forward. He went above him, missed the ball. Harry Kane got it. He starts jogging behind the play, never really getting back into it. Harry Kane passes it, gets it right back, and gets a shot off. And he never tracked back.
I think it is partly that, but also we had 3 players coming on yellow cards in the first half, and I think maybe just a little bit more reluctant to go into the tackle. And then I think actually the timing of the goal, though it's like, you know, typically everyone says great just on half time, it probably hurt us a little bit in that it buoyed us up a bit too much, and it got Tottenham really fired up for the start of the second half. So I think, you know, if the goal had come maybe just 5 minutes earlier, it might have just worked a little bit better for us.
Adrian, what do you think about the goals?
Players. Yeah, as well. Like Spurs have got real quality players.
Adrian, do you think it was as Stan mentioned, they got some quality players, but do you think it was quality players, or do you think we could have done a bit better with the defending, especially considering 4 goals?
PVA has got a habit of bringing players like on his inside. He should never do that. He should like Bale today. If he had played him like going on his outside, I think maybe he wouldn't think. But I don't know. I don't think you can fault any of the defenders today because them goals were quality goals. Right? Maybe we didn't close down quick enough, like for the Harry Kane shot, his first goal and stuff like that. But I think that has been our season. We haven't closed down players quick enough, hence why they're scoring goals.
Yeah. CPFC Vancouver says, please ask Stan about offside goals. So Stan, you were talking about it beforehand.
Darren from CPFC Vancouver.
So what do you need help with, Stan?
Allowed because the ball was played backwards, basically, because he looked in an offside position, but the ball was played backwards. So basically from the line back. So it's classed onside. I think that's the easiest
That was it, mate. That was it. Honestly, I don't think we deserve to lose 4-1 today. I don't think we did.
No, I know.
Did we deserve to win?
I think we've done well enough. Right, maybe one goal we could have lost by, but I do think we were okay today. Right, we wore our hearts on our sleeves today, and I think that's been missing in recent weeks.
Yeah. Did White have anything to do? Did he have anything to do apart from pick the ball out of the net 4 times? No.
Yeah.
He didn't.
And they were good goals. Right? No keeper, I don't think, would have had a chance of saving any of them.
On that one goal, Stan, I remember you saying when they on the ball that got the double header that went from Harry Kane to Gareth Bale, I remember you saying that Guaita should have came for that cross.
No, I look back at the replay though. There was nothing there. He had no chance of any of the goals.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a quality. That's just a quality team. I mean, I think honestly, if we played the same way we did today against probably the last 3 of our opponents, it probably ends up being a 1-1 tie because they can't make the goals that Tottenham came out and did. I mean, I don't think that the Harry Kane goal, nobody on Brighton or Fulham, anybody's going to score that goal. You know what I mean? The double header, I don't see that happening. Most of these goals are really more indicative of the quality of who we played against, more than how badly we may have been playing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they are a good side. They are a good side, but
one thing I want to ask is, what do you think of Eze coming off? Because I would have, if I was, I would have taken off. You're also that Gyro didn't have a game, and I don't think Luca had a good game today. If one of them came off, moved Eze into the centre of midfield and put Wilfred on left, I think we lost something when Eze was taken off today, and I just can't put my finger on what it was because I think if you look at the Tottenham defence, they always had 2 or 3 players ready to go to him every time he got that ball. So I think we lost a bit by taking Eze off today.
Yeah,
I'm not saying he had a great, but I don't know if anyone else sort of noticed that.
Yeah, 100%. I noticed that, and I said it before we went live. But the thing I'm more scared about is, yes, Eze came off at halftime, but how many times does Roy do a halftime substitution if it's not injury? And Eze didn't look injured out there, unless Roy said something post-match, which of course I'm here talking with you guys, so I'm not too sure. I haven't seen any of his comments. Unless he says something about Eze being injured, then I would understand it. But what I'm worried about for the last 10 games of the season, I'll be honest with you guys, is that now Zaha's back, now Schlupp is back, and now that Roy, he likes IU a lot. I don't know what it is, especially this season when he hasn't performed. I think Eze is going to be the scapegoat. I honestly think Eze is going to be out the side.
Yeah,
and we saw it, in the second half in terms of we put Wilf there. Of course, Wilf is a very, very good attacker. He's our best attacker going forward. But the problem is we couldn't really get the ball up to Wilf because we couldn't pick out the passes. And when Eze was on the pitch, he can get the ball and he can dribble and get the ball to Wilf like that instead of us just trying to hoof up to him, giving the passes too late. So getting Eze off, I feel like, yes, it was you can look at it, Ayew went on left, Eze came off. But I think it had a massive impact on our game going forward. And Eze and Wilf could have been massive for us in that second half if it was on the pitch. Because we didn't have anyone going forward. I don't know if you guys saw it like I did, but
100%.
But yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. But like when Wilf came on, he wasn't as sharp as he was before he got injured. I think he's going to take like a game or two to get back to where he was before he got done his string. I think he's a bit, how can I say, he's a bit tentative because of the injury he got, and I think he really did feel it.
Yeah, I mean, he's been out for 4 weeks now, so came on at half time. It's expected. He just needs to get a bit more match fitness. I mean, it was interesting to see Roy put him on because the pre-match comments from Royce were suggesting pretty much that Wilf is there, but he might not be coming on. But the fact they put him on at half time for Eze, I think that's one to look out for. But in terms of going forward, we did get that one brilliant goal, and it was from Christian Benteke. Nice build-up play. And Luka was the main man to give that assist out wide, which doesn't even sound right. But what do you guys think of Benteke's performance today? He was just all over the pitch. He was going into midfield, deep into midfield, picking up the ball and giving the service, and he finished it.
Quality.
Excellent.
But how many times have I said, like, when you play a ball up top to Benteke, like from goal and stuff like that, 9 times out of 10 he wins that ball in the air. He doesn't play to his strength. You look at the games when he used to play for Villa. Most of the goals he was scoring was with his head. So, we've got Townsend, who's meant to be one of the best crossers in the league. Right? You can put that ball on his head every time. Zaha can do the same thing. Right? And we don't do it. You look, you were saying about Ayew coming in centre. Townsend does exactly the same thing. Right? He should play out wide. Stretches the game. It gives other people the chance to, get in and do stuff. And I think that's what we're missing. Someone like wingers, proper wingers, to stretch the game a little bit. But to get these crosses into the likes of Benteke. Not sure whether he'll be here next season. But then, JP, he can do the same job. Right, he can play the ball into him properly.
Yeah. Do you guys think that's the case with Benteke? Oliver says Benteke gets too much criticism that he's not getting the service at times, and then when he does, especially crosses, that's 2 crosses now. Brighton game, crossing to the box, he finished it. This game, crossing to the box, do you think that is the case? Are we just not giving him enough service up top?
I think a bit of that, and he's a confidence. Like all strikers rely on confidence, right? They need that. So once they're in the run, you have to keep looking after them, giving the service. I think a lot of people wanted Mateta to play more, but if Benteke's feeling confident and is in the run, you've got to keep. You can't keep chopping and changing. Now we could talk about Mateta. Maybe his confidence has been knocked after the great game against Brighton and then not playing again. But it's a tricky one because he probably doesn't want to play both of them together. One thing I'd like to add on Benteke though, that I've been really critical about the fact that we've got so many players out of contract and it hasn't been done yet. The business seems to be being done really late. But we've got to sign him up, haven't we? And all I can say, maybe they're seeing it as a motivation to keep some of these players really on their toes. I don't know. If it is, maybe it's working, but it feels a bit like he's a player who loves playing at Palace. He wants to stay. If we were going to get a replacement for him, it's going to cost us 15 million at least. So, just sign him up, seems to me.
What, we're already we're in that territory now. What, Benteke should get a contract extension?
I
agree.
Think so.
I give him another year.
But one problem I think Benteke's got is he waits for the ball to come to him some of the time. Like, he doesn't make a front post, and I think that is his fault. He doesn't like make the front runs. When he does, 9 times out of 10, he's falling goals. But
Roy don't play to his strength.
Amazing. No, we don't.
He don't play to his strength. I think
100%.
Honestly, we just got to get through the next 10 games, pick up 4 or 5 points, and get this season over and done with. Get his manager out of here. Say, look, mate, you've done a great job, Roy. Really appreciate what you've done, but see you later. And try and bring some players in the summer and get your manager in, because, like I said, otherwise it's going to be the same old shit over and over again, and we're just sleepwalking towards oblivion in a way. I think, honestly, Luca, I don't know how he's our captain. I don't know how he is.
To be fair, he had a good performance against United. Like, yeah, of course.
Mate, we should sell him to Sunderland in League One. He's shit, bro.
That's a bit hard. He hasn't had the greatest of season. He hasn't been consistently good for a long time. He hasn't been consistently good for a long time. So with that, I can't argue against it. But Jordan Ayew, last season comments, that is just
Jordan Ayew played 30 some odd games with us and scored 9 goals, and we thought it was the greatest thing in the world. That is not
but that nine
that is not impressive for a striker. He had one amazing goal. One amazing goal, and people are just like, "Oh my God, Jordan Ayew!" No, dude, that dude was average at best, and that was his best he could do for us. Was completely bang average. Don't give him more than he deserves. He's not that good.
This season he's back to hitting the 68 bus for every shot he takes at Sellers. Do you know what I mean? So, nah, mate.
All right, let's not. We talked enough about Jordan Ayew. So let's talk about some of the other substitutions.
I got a question for you all though.
Yeah.
Because so when Zaha came on, naturally within that 4-4-2, we wanted to put him up top, and like you said, Diyar, it was kind of an issue with us trying to get the ball to him, because I feel like Wilf didn't really touch the ball hardly at all for like that first, I want to say maybe 15 minutes of the half. I felt like he only touched like maybe twice. Would we have been better served to have him play on the left side? And if they're gonna leave Ayew up top, just so Wilf can get his touches in on the ball.
That's a very good point that you made, because during the watch along we were discussing the same thing, and he seemed frustrated. There were so many times where the camera went up to him, was focused on him, and then he was like, give me the ball. And at times I feel like he just had to come and collect the ball himself. But the problem with Wilf going out wide down the left-hand side is because we saw it last season as well. Roy's going to ask him to go back and defend a lot. And I think that's the reason why he's not putting him there. But realistically, I think, him down the left and Eze in the team, or Schlupp in the team, and with JP and Benteke up front, that gives teams something else to think about. I think that would be like, for the counter-attacking reasons, I feel like that would be great. But it's Roy we're talking about. Is he realistically going to do that? Is he going to put JP and Benteke up front and put Wilf out? Well, I don't think so. I think in this system and in formations, his best position is probably up front alongside another striker, is because he's not going to be asked to go and defend, and that's the reason for it. Otherwise, we've seen it. He's got the skills to play out wide. But then again, it's all about defense, and I don't want him to go back and defend.
He needs to be more of a true shadow striker, just drop deeper in, because I just feel like he just like Wolf's the type of guy. He's got to have the ball at his feet to be more effective of a player. He's not a run in behind type of striker. You know what I'm saying? He's not a target man. Like, he has to have the ball to feet in order to really get his feel for the game. And if he's just stranded at the top like that, we're not doing ourselves any favors, and he's not going to be involved and get going. So, like, do we need to drop him more in? Like I don't know.
What do you guys think of JP? He came on today. That's 1+, of course. We're 3-1 down. So 3-1 down. So it was a bit too late. But he came off of Benteke. What do you guys think about that substitution? We're talking about Benteke having a very good game. JP comes on 3-1 down for him. Do you guys agree with the sub? Do you think that maybe both of them should have been up front and Wilf out wide? I know T, you agree with that, but what about you, Stan?
I think you've had 3 games in a week. Benteke is probably cream crackered because he's been everywhere the game. So I think it was just a straight swap. Should they both get on the pitch together? Absolutely. We've got a decent amount of attacking players that we don't use. There's there's everything to say to that, but yeah, I can see the reason behind the substitution.
All right, I've got news for you guys, and this is what my fear is. Decision to sub Eze was not due to injury, according to Roy, says Matt Wisnham. I said it. I said it. Like, is this what's going to happen? He's going to be sacrificed. And when things are serious, when Roy's in a halftime substitution, and it was tactical, not for injury. And hopefully it's a bit of rotation. Hopefully that's the case. But I am just worried to bits that he's going to be stuck on a bench from now on. But that's confirmed. Eze is not injured. It was a tactical change from Roy Hodgson. But yeah, Adrian, what do you think about the JP? He came on. I thought he was pretty much decent. But Ayew, we talked about Ayew. I don't want to go too much into it, but Ayew didn't have the greatest of games. And you would have thought maybe put Benteke and JP there, see how that would work, because we haven't really seen them. We haven't seen them play up front as a duo together. So how do you feel about that?
I agree. I don't think they should have taken off Benteke, because he caused a lot of problems, and Alderweireld, he had he watched Benteke quite closely because of the fear he knows playing alongside him in the Belgium team. So I think that was maybe a wrong, and I think Ayew, that name's come up again. He should have been subbed and put those two up. Like you said, I couldn't understand why Townsend went off, but I think if we'd had Townsend on the right, Zaha on the left, and put if Riedewald came off and put Sluppy where Riedewald was, I think that's the making of a pretty good team. Because you look at Schlupp, he was at Leicester, he played left back or left wing back, so he can defend as well. So therefore, Zaha doesn't have to defend so much, because Sluppy can drop in behind Zaha and help the defence, as well as his tackling. Because you know how Slupp runs, left, right, and centre. And I think, that's what should have happened with, and it would have maybe freed up the front two as well.
But, yeah. Let's look ahead to the next game. We talked enough about this game. 4-1 defeat, disappointing. But before we do look ahead to the next game, I just seen a comment from Roy Keane on Palace. And he said this, let's see if you guys agree with it. Every time we talk about Palace, we talk about how well they're organised. They're not. It's 47 goals conceded. That it's a very good point that he's made there. We're meant to be the solid defensive team under Roy, but we've conceded one of the most goals in the Premier League. So add that one up. How? How is that the case?
It's facts, mate. He's talking. You can't argue with it. The stats don't lie.
And it's good that people are realizing that, because Roy Hodgson, solid Roy. We are conceding goals this season. There is something definitely. We might have picked up the most points since we got into the Premier League, but there's something weird about the season. And let's just finally look ahead to the next game. Sam Allardyce, Roy Hodgson. It's not going to be great football, of course, but how are we feeling ahead of that one? Are we expecting, Palace to go and get all 3 points before taking 3 weeks off, or are you a bit worried?
Have you seen what Big Sam said? He must win against us. That's what he's saying.
I don't know what he said. Is it?
Yeah,
he must win. Well, he's going to be up for it, and he's going to make sure his players are up for it as well. But I'm worried about, I don't know about you guys, but what I'm worried about is that Palace might approach this game in a similar way to Fulham, where instead of looking at them as a team in a relegation side, they're going to look at them as a team who wants to win this game. So let's go and sit back and make sure we don't concede.
I don't know if they'll do that.
Do you think we'll go at Palace? No, I'm not Palace. At West Brom?
No, I'm actually worried that the players won't approach it seriously enough. That's my worry. Yeah, I'm worried that they won't approach it seriously enough. that they think, oh, it's just West Brom will get this. Like, this is a tough game. They're scrapping for their lives. And you know what? As bad as they are, they've got players that can make stuff happen. They've got Pereira. They've got their captain's not a bad player. They've got Gallagher in the middle. You know, they've got a big striker up top. Maitland-Niles in the middle as well. Like, they're not as horrendous as we might think they are.
Yeah.
So, no, they're actually, like, I've seen they play some pretty decent football. They just, like, you know, when they've got a pretty good defence in front of them, they don't seem to do in the final third. Very similar to us, actually. They defend well, they play across the midfield quite well. But, like, it's just that, like, last third of the pitch, right? But I think because it's us, Allardyce will turn it on. He'll turn around and say, oh, you know, you won't get paid unless you win.
Yeah. T, how do you see how do you see going for Palace? It's going to be difficult with Big Sam. We've seen him at Palace. His sides are normally well drilled, so it's going to be hard breaking them down. But do you think with Wolf back and hopefully get a bit more time to have a bit more fitness ahead of that game that we could potentially go and get a result, or is it going to be a hard game for you?
It's a worrisome game. It's worrisome, if to say the least, because I mean, Sam. Not only does Sam know Crystal Palace, of course, but we don't play the same way when he was here. But he knows our players. You know, so and
he bought a lot of them. They're still bloody here.
Yeah, so I'm saying so with him knowing our actual players and how they play and what their weaknesses are, I think that helps translate to them playing against us more effectively. I'm
gonna say one thing.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna say one thing. Sorry to cut you off. I'm gonna say one thing, and before it goes off my head, PVA, watch out for him because Big Sam knows him too well.
Exactly.
Watch out for him in this game because I'm genuinely concerned for him because I know that if Big Sam uses any of his knowledge,
do not be surprised if Albion plays a bunch of balls over the top and trying to play over PVA. I would not be surprised if they came out and did that, similar to what game was that? Oh God, where they just played it over him constantly.
Burnley.
I can't remember.
Burnley.
It was Burnley. I would be surprised if we see them come out and try to do the same thing against him. Like, he knows him very well. But the one thing I'm really hoping that we don't do against West Brom is play 4-4-2. I really hope we don't play 4-4-2. Even though I think we will, I think that's the thing that will hurt us the most. Because if we play 4-4-2, we're going to concede majority of the possession, and that's not going to be good in our favor.
Yeah, it's going to be a difficult game. I think let's just wrap it up here. Of course, 4-1 defeat against Tottenham. I performance-wise, I guess, I personally feel like we could have defended a bit better for some of the goals. Some brilliant goals they did score, but there was a couple of situations where I'm not too sure what was going on. But look, we'll be back here for the West Brom game. Thank you to T, to Stan, to Adrian, to everyone who joined us, John, and everyone else. And thank you for listening as well and watching this. If you've enjoyed it, make sure to hit the like button and also subscribe. And until next time, up the Palace.